Welcome to Desktop DIY. Today we'll be making Gimp box knot keychains. For this project, you will need a key ring, 2 pieces of Gimp that are about 1.5 to 2 feet long. 2 different colors work best, and some tape. This will be to save your project if you need to later. Now we'll start our box knot. First, we'll need our key ring. Starting a box knot can be challenging, but we'll go through it slowly together. First, we'll have to put our key ring onto our Gimp. To do that, just put your 2 strings together and then put the key ring right over it. You want to make sure that your key ring gets to the middle. I do that by bringing the 2 ends together, and the key ring should fall right to the middle of your 2 Gimp strings. Great! Now let's get the Gimp set up to tie. You want your 2 strings to be right next to one another and not overlapping at all yet. You want them to be touching but not overlapping. Now we'll take one of our strings and just slide it over the top to make an X. Slide it over the top of the other string to make an X. Now make sure you know which string is on the bottom. We'll start with that one. Take that string and loop it to the opposite side. You're going to hold onto your Gimp very tightly because it's very stubborn. So we'll make 1 loop and make sure that other string stays underneath the key ring and still on top of our first color. Now we'll take our other side of that string and make another loop. You want your loops to be equal in size, and make sure you're holding the Gimp down so it doesn't move around. I'm telling you, it's very stubborn. Now you should have 2 equally sized loops. Now let's start our first knot. Take your second color and we're going to weave it through the loops. To do that, we'll go over the first loop and then under that second loop. And then we're going to pull it tight. Make sure it goes over the first and under the second. And you don't want to pull too hard. We don't want to make our loops too small, so don't pull too tight. We'll do the same for the second. We're going to go over the first loop and then under the second. Make sure your Gimp stays equally spaced apart. Over the first, under the second. Make sure your Gimp stays flat and straight. You might need to twist it around just a little. Now, it should look something like this. One of the strings over, under, and the second string over, under. Now we're going to pull it tight. To do that, take 1 of each of the color strings in your hand, in one hand, and same on the other side. And then pull very slowly but firmly until your knot appears on your key ring. Like I said, Gimp is very stubborn, so you might see that one of your sides is a little bigger than the others. For example, my white string is a little bit bigger than the red string right now in the knot. So I'm just going to pull the white strings for a second to try to even them out. You're going to have to do this back and forth a few times, but keep pulling it. The more you pull it, the more flexible it becomes, and it'll most likely stay in place. But if you pull too hard, you might stretch it out a little. So you just got to find the right groove. After that, you should have a nice little square knot. Now let's continue. We're going to repeat the same knot. So you're going to make a loop with the same color you used in the first step and bring it over to the opposite side to make a loop like that. You really want to hold this loop in place. Now we'll do the same thing with the other string. Same color, loop it over to the opposite side. You want our loops to be equal. As you can see, I'm tucking my string into my hand so I can pinch it and hold it in place. Now our loop should be even and almost look like a pretzel. Now we'll repeat the same process by taking our other colored string, weaving it over the first loop, but into the second loop. Over the first, and then into the second. And remember, when you're pulling it, don't pull too hard. You don't want to shrink our loop sizes. Same with the other string. Over the first loop, under the second, and then pull it through. Now we'll pull it tight again. We're going to take 2 strings in one hand. Each of the strings are different colors, and same with the other hand. And then pull. And just like in the first step, you might have to pull one color more than the other color to make our boxes even. We'll repeat the looping and weaving method for our entire keychain. Go ahead and rewatch this video as many times as you need to, and obviously you can pause at any point. We're making 2 loops and then weaving our other strings over the top, under the second, and then pulling tight. When you end it, you can make whatever knot you want, whatever works best for you. And if you need to stop and then come back to it later, just put a piece of tape nice and strong right over the top of your knot, and that should keep it in place for when you're ready to try again. Well, thank you for watching. Share your desktop DIY creations with us on any of our social media sites.